They won't say it to your face. They probably don't even know why. But something changes when you walk into the room. It's not loud, it's not obvious. It's quiet, subtle, but unmistakable. The air thickens, the laughter slows. People shift not physically, but energetically, like they're suddenly aware of something they didn't want to see. And that something is you. Not because you're rude, not because you're trying to make anyone uncomfortable, but because your very presence unsettles what others have spent their whole lives hiding. Carl Jung, one of the deepest thinkers of the human soul, believed that there are people who walk through the world carrying an energy most cannot understand, an energy that comes from within, not cultivated, not learned, but earned through pain, honesty, and self-confrontation. This is not about being better than anyone. It's about being different because you've walked through fires others run from. Today, I'm going to share 15 signs your presence quietly freaks people out without you realizing it. Not because you're the problem, but because your energy reflects truths they're not ready to face. Sign 1. People say you're too much. Even when you say almost nothing, you're just existing. Speaking plainly, being yourself, but people pull back. Their reactions don't match your words. You get told things like, "You're intense, you need to lighten up, you think too deeply about everything." But you weren't trying to be intense, you were just being honest. Jung taught that we all wear masks, what he called the persona. But people like you don't wear it well. And that's terrifying to people who've built their whole identity around it. So when you speak, they don't just hear your words, they feel something deeper. Like a mirror held up to everything they're not ready to admit. It's not that you're too much, it's that most people are living as too little. Sign 2. You make people nervous just by walking into the room. You've seen it happen. You enter a space, and suddenly, conversations die. People shift, glance, pretend not to notice. Some smile, but it doesn't reach their eyes. You're not trying to dominate. You're not loud or attention-seeking, but your energy. It demands presence, not with force, but with stillness. Carl Jung believed that those who integrate their shadow carry a kind of psychic gravity, an unconscious pressure that others feel without understanding it. It's not charisma, it's not performance, it's depth. And depth makes people who live on the surface feel like they're drowning. Sign 3. Strangers either open up to you or avoid you completely. It's one or the other. There's rarely an in-between. You meet someone for the first time, and within minutes they're telling you about their childhood trauma. Or they can't make eye contact at all. Jung believed in something he called the numinous self, a deep spiritual presence that emanates from the unconscious. People feel that from you, even if you don't feel it in yourself. You don't say much, you don't push, but your aura creates space. And in that space, people either feel safe or completely exposed. Sign 4. Eye contact becomes a silent confrontation. You look someone in the eyes, not aggressively, not challengingly, just honestly. And they flinch. They break eye contact. They fidget. They look away. They change the subject. It's not because you're staring them down. It's because you're not looking away. In a world where eye contact has become another form of social camouflage, your gaze is raw, unfiltered, present. You don't just see people, you feel them, and Jung said that kind of presence awakens something ancient in the human psyche. He called it the confrontation with the self. To those who aren't ready, your gaze doesn't feel like attention, feels like exposure. Sign 5. You can't pretend, and people resent you for it. You've tried. You've smiled when you didn't feel like smiling. You've nodded through small talk. You've played nice to fit in. But inside, it feels like you're dying. Because your soul was never wired for performance. It was wired for truth. Jung said that when a person refuses to repress their shadow, when they embrace their darkness, instead of burying it, they develop a presence that rejects artificiality by nature. So when someone lies to themselves in your presence, your energy threatens the illusion. You don't need to expose them. Your existence does. And for most people, that's enough to call you difficult, aloof, or too deep. But it's not rejection. It's recognition. They sense that you're not like them, and it scares them. Sign 6. Your silence says more than most people's words, and it unsettles them. You sit in a room, and you're not loud. You're not filling space. You're just present. But somehow, people start to squirm. They crack jokes that don't land. They talk faster, louder, as if trying to cover up the weight of the quiet you bring. Carl Jung believed that silence wasn't emptiness, it was density. An energetic field where the unconscious begins to speak. And you carry that kind of silence. It's not passive. It's penetrating because in your silence, there's no room to hide. And for people addicted to noise, internal or external, that's unbearable. Sign 7. People misinterpret your boundaries as rejection. You say no without guilt. You choose solitude over superficiality. You don't explain your every move, and you don't chase people for validation. You have standards, not walls. But in a world where emotional codependency is normalized, boundaries are seen as betrayal. Jung taught that individuation, becoming your true self, often isolates you from the collective, because the collective survives on sameness. And you're not here to blend in, so when you don't conform, people assume you're cold. When you don't overshare, they call you secretive. But the truth is, your presence simply doesn't beg for approval. That kind of self-containment freaks people out because it reminds them they're not whole without someone else telling them who to be. Sign 8. People confess things to you, then disappear. They say you're easy to talk to, mean that they've never opened up to anyone like this before, that you get them, and then they vanish. They stop texting. They pull away, like something scared them, and it did. You not because you hurt them, but because your energy pulled something real to the surface. And when that mask fell, they weren't ready for what they saw. Jung wrote extensively about projection, the human tendency to deny our own flaws by unconsciously putting them onto others. But when someone meets you, someone self-aware, still emotionally attuned, the mirror doesn't distort. It reflects clearly, and clarity, for the unprepared, feels like violence. Sign 9. You intimidate people who hold power, and you don't know why. You've seen it. Bosses, teachers, alpha personalities. They treat you strangely, cold, defensive, dismissive, sometimes subtly threatened, and you're left wondering, what did I do? You didn't do anything. You are something. You carry a presence that doesn't ask for permission, that doesn't worship titles, that doesn't play the dominance game. Jung said that when a person has integrated their own inner authority, their inner king or queen, they no longer need external validation. And that kind of quiet self-possession disrupts power structures. You walk in, and the unspoken message is clear. I won't be controlled, not through fear, not through praise, not through manipulation. To those built on ego and control, your presence is a silent rebellion. Sign 10. You ask the questions most. People spend their whole lives avoiding. You don't do small talk well. It's not that you're antisocial, you're just allergic to shallow. You crave conversations that matter. You ask things like, what are you afraid of? What's something you've never told anyone? What does peace actually feel like to you? And for most, that's not a conversation, that's a confrontation. Jung believed that those on the path to individuation naturally awaken others' unconscious questions. But that awakening, it hurts, because it threatens the illusion that everything is fine. So instead of thanking you for depth, people mock it. Call it dramatic, too much, too intense, too real. But the truth is, they felt something open when you spoke, and that opening scared them. Sign 11. You notice things others pretend not to see. The subtle shift in someone's tone, the tension lurking behind a forced smile, can lie hidden beneath a perfectly rehearsed sentence. You don't actively search for these signs, you just feel them. This isn't judgment, it's deep perception. Carl Jung taught that when a person embraces and integrates their shadow, the unconscious parts of themselves, they unlock a heightened form of psychic intuition. This intuition allows you to sense what others bury or deny. This sensitivity, it unsettles people because you see through their masks. You don't respond to the surface performance. You respond to the energy pulsing beneath it. For those who've spent their lives hiding from their own shadows, being seen with such clarity can feel like a threat. It's like looking into a mirror that reflects all the parts they've tried to erase. Sign 12. People project their insecurities onto you. You've been called arrogant, cold, intense, too serious. Not because these words fit who you are, but because you embody something they can't grasp or contain. Jung warned that projection is the most dangerous dynamic in relationships. When people can't face their own flaws and fears, they unconsciously place those dark pieces onto others, especially those who radiate strength and self-possession. You don't lash out, you don't fight back. You simply exist in your authentic self, an authentic self that forces others to confront the uncomfortable roles they play. Instead of facing their discomfort, they cast you as the villain. It's not about you. It's about what you hold up for them to see. Sign 13. You feel emotionally exhausted in crowds, even if no one speaks to you. You enter a room full of smiling, laughing people. Yet somehow, your energy shrinks. Your breath becomes shallow. Your body feels heavy. You weren't attacked. No harsh words were said. And still, you leave feeling as if you've carried a weight not your own. Jung described this as psychic absorption, the unconscious intake of emotional energy from those around you. People with deep inner lives often absorb the unspoken emotional residue in a space. Even when no words are exchanged, you're not imagining it. You're finely attuned. Without strong boundaries, your empathy becomes a sponge, soaking up what others desperately try to hide. This is why your presence can feel so unsettling to others, because you silently expose the energy they'd rather keep buried. Sign 14. You've been told you're not from this world. People say it half-jokingly, but it's true. There's something about you that doesn't fit the usual molds. Not in a negative way, just different. You don't think the way others do. You notice patterns others miss. You feel pains that aren't even your own. From an early age, you sensed the world wore a mask. Jung believed some souls come into life with a calling from the self, a profound spiritual pull toward truth, wholeness, and transformation. Those souls don't fit comfortably into society. They don't chase trends or play social roles. They are born to question, to observe, to evolve. And that evolution radiates through your aura, through words or appearances. But as an energy whispering, I've seen behind the curtain. Sign 15. You've been punished for being real. You spoke honestly and they said you were cruel. You were quiet and they called you arrogant. You sought depth and they said you were exhausting. Over and over. You've paid the price for choosing authenticity